So imagine this, you're running a business that involves you to show up. At least your business is at the early stages where you can't hire people or get people to do certain things for you yet. Then you actually fall sick or have a health scare and everything stalls. That's what we're talking about in this episode. Stay tuned. In the kind of society we live in, I think we prioritize work over everything. We prioritize our careers, always doing something, always working, having something to do over our well being. And I think that's what I did at the beginning of this year. I felt sick, and it was so bad that I couldn't speak. I lost my voice. And for someone that her business or her brand depends on, for example, the podcast depends on me being able to speak and have conversations with people. The pages, I need to create content. I do what's it called? Mhm. Head talking content basically for marketing and maybe sharing experiences I've had helping other people manage their businesses. And I couldn't talk. And this happened January the first time, and it happened again February. And that was because I was prioritizing productivity over my well being. Coincidentally, I think the second time I had that, um, I broke down basically. Another friend of mine, a close relative of his, had a scare, like a major one. I'll say it, hypertension. And this is not the first time I'm hearing maybe people of our age bracket 25, 24, 29 having this kind of issues. Low blood pressure, hypertension, high blood pressure, depression, all of this. And it just doesn't just happen to entrepreneurs or business owners or freelancers. No, it also happens to people who also do 9 to 5. And I'll just say it has a lot to do with the way our society is structured, first of all, and also what we prioritize and what we value. I think there is this subconscious belief that a lot of us hold that if we're not doing something, we're not being productive or we are being lazy. Exactly, that's the word, lazy. We're so into that we think that even taking time off is useless. And for me, I launched into the year with plans because I wanted to really be on top of my game with productivity, with time with fellow social, everything. I wanted it to be flowing. And I felt sick the first time because I remember I talked about starting my baking business as well. I felt sick. I couldn't speak. I couldn't do anything. I was miserable. Well, do you know what happened when I recovered the first time? I didn't listen to my body and I launched into it again. And I remember when I was younger, I used to take so much pride in the fact that I didn't used to sleep. I could stay up all night reading and stuff. And one thing we don't know is that we're building up habits that we can't sustain, and things that will be detrimental to our health as we grow. As a small business owner or an entrepreneur, or if you work in 9 to 5, whatever it is you do, a lot of the things we do is physical labor, mental labor. Your brain is always working, everything is busy. Even for people that work at home, people who do content online, we think that because maybe we're not doing physical labor, we are we don't like we have enough energy. But we forget one thing we are not aware of is that everything we are doing is energy. And a lot of people lean into time management and whatnot, trying to be productive, but we also leave out energy management. Yeah. That's one thing we're not conscious of. That's one thing we're not, that is not taught to us. That, do you know that even sitting in a meeting for 5 hours can drain you? I experienced this last year working with a team where we'll sit down for hours. I'm supposed to sit in, listen, then go back and do work. That was crazy. And I felt sick. The thing I just want to say is, while we do all these things that we think are going to make us successful or move us to where we need to be, while neglecting ourselves, if you die, you will be replaced. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything. That's the truth. If you die, life will go on. The world will not stop because you died. Your office is not going to, your employment employers or whatnot is not going to stop because you died. Your business may die. Some people may take it over. Some people may even have similar business ideas, because you're no longer there. Life will go on. And the only time that we are brought to this consciousness is when we are in it. But once we've recovered, it's like we go back to the same unhealthy patterns, forgetting how miserable it was when we couldn't speak, or how frustrating it was when we can't even sleep. Yeah, you think maybe that time you're sick, you get enough sleep. No, at least for the first 4 days or 2 days, it was happening to me. I couldn't see. I was begging for sleep. I couldn't sleep. And another thing I want to mention is sleep. I mentioned earlier that when I was younger, I used to take so much pride in not sleeping. And one thing we don't know is, actually, if you have sleep debt, sleep is going to collect its debt from you. That's the truth. If you notice, if you're someone who skips sleep, you notice that there's a day you crash. There's a day you just sleep all through. And I experienced this last weekend. I wasn't sleeping well, not because I wanted to, not because I didn't want to. My mind was just working over time. I haven't been meditating as much as I would love. And I realized I was only sleeping for 3 hours, spending so much time on my PC. And the holiday, I actually didn't have plans to sleep. But the second day, I crashed. I slept on the floor all through. So I think, while we grow our businesses, while we want to achieve our yearly goals, we should not neglect our health. We should make that a priority. We should schedule days for off, just to quiet our mind and just take things a little slower. Because all one thing with all the money you're making, have you seen how much healthcare is just for checkup? When I went in January, because I really just wanted to know if there was something extra, how much they charge me for checkup. That's crazy. That's like you're just going to work, 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 and then spend the money on health, on sick care. Yeah, now this is the difference between healthcare and sick care. Healthcare is stuff you do every day to care for yourself, that's self care. But sick care are the things that you do when you're down. So I think it's for us to reevaluate what's important. It's you, your health. And I realized this working with different people. I realized when I was sacrificing my sleep to produce certain things for people, to show up on time, to they're going to say thank you, oh this, but when you fall sick, they're going to replace you. And that's the truth. Honestly, I think it's just for us to just take the time and reflect, if we really want to spend our money just treating ourselves from different breakdown episodes, or hypertension or depression. Sometimes overworking is the problem, and it's for us really paying attention to our body, to our mind, to how we are feeling and stuff, so that we can be able to navigate growing a business, while staying conscious about our health. That's it. So I hope sharing this with you, if you're one of the people that powers through, that doesn't take time off to rest, to just be by yourself, not do anything. And that's a problem. That's an addiction we have. A lot of us are addicted to working that we do not know. We think is a normal way to function, but it's not. Anyway, we've come to the end of this episode. I hope that sharing my experience and the experience of a few people that I know would help you make better choices when it comes to caring for yourself while you're working or growing your business. Please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and share. Leave a comment if this resonates with you, and share with anybody that needs to hear this too. Bye. See you in the next episode.